It's time for the Nebraska Baseball Coaches Show.
The hitter now, the 1-0 pitch. Swings and lines one. Diving grab by Dylan Carey deep in the hole. Holy cow, what a play from DC. Here comes the payoff pitch to Stone. Tyler swings and hammers one to right field. That ball is out of here. Tyler Stone turns around 94 for a two-run bomb to right field. And Nebraska gets the early jump today, 2-0.
Dice comes set, the 0-2 pitch. Strike three called outside corner, and Casey Dice able to work around the one-out walk and hangs the 0 in the top of the 8th inning.
Bradford at first base. It is Bradford at second base. The hit and run is on. Brumbaugh delivers in to score is Bradford. They're going to send Overbeek. To second goes Brumbaugh. It's a two-run double by Caden Brumbaugh. And the Huskers lead 5-3.
Now with Will Bolt. Here's your host, Ben McLaughlin.
Thank you. Welcome. Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. We have you for the next hour here on the Huskers Radio Network. Ben McLaughlin joined in studio by Nebraska head baseball coach Will Bolt. Man, what a start to the week last week. You're handing the ball to Jackson Brockett on a Wednesday. Team really needs a win and delivers maybe the best pitching performance I've ever seen. I've said that twice this year. Yeah. I know that the hope was maybe get him through the lineup once and turn it over to the next guy, but sometimes this sport just teases you.
Yeah, what a performance by Jax there. Needless to say, I mean, he after each inning, Coach Childers went up to him and said, one more. So he said it 8 times over the course of the game, and it just against a good hitting team too, who turned around and won 2 out of 3 over the weekend against Kansas. And yeah, I mean, just his fastball command was great. I mean, the velo, he was up to 94 with the fastball, and the curveball was just really, really tough, especially on their left-handed hitters. And he got a lot of swing and miss at the top of the zone with his fastball. And when he's going good, he's got pretty rare extension. Those are, some of the analytics you can look at now where a guy where he lets go of the ball. His is really out there for a guy that's not 6'5", and so it can kind of get on the hitters. When he's got his delivery going like he had on Wednesday night, it's awfully tough.
I've been on a few radio shows, obviously, since with all the attention, and everyone is asking me about Jackson and about his career. And there's been a ton made of just the 5 1/3 pitch this year, but it's not always apples to apples into a year-over-year situation. I've tried to articulate the way our staff is built this year and the way our staffs are built in years past aren't the same. And you have a lot of guys that have been performing for you and have been coming up in those big situations. What has it been like for you to kind of see Jackson's career unfold, maybe more so this year when he's really had to work hard on the development side and really taking that next step as a pitcher?
Yeah, so, him coming in out of high school, obviously like most kids, he was a starter, and that's what he was used to doing. And he did that. I don't know, he probably made, 5 or 6 starts as a true freshman, albeit on a team that, scuffled a little bit and was searching for some things, especially with all the injuries that we had on the mound that year. But he got some good experience, and he had some good moments for us last year as well. And again, I can probably look in the mirror and admit that maybe we didn't put him in the best position to succeed, bringing him out of the bullpen this year. That's kind of where, if you think about opening weekend, I mean, we went to him pretty quickly in some big spots, and over the course of the first few weekends, we went to him pretty early at times, and it was a little bit of a mixed bag, right, with what he did. And he had really grown from a maturity standpoint going into this season, from that mental sharpness part of it that is so important on the mound. So we thought, the bullpen would be a good role for him because the velo had jumped a little bit, and you figure in a short stint, that there's going to be some good outings in there, and it was a bit of a mixed bag for how it went. And, unfortunately for him, we had some other guys that were hot, on the mound, and so his time was pretty limited, and then we have to make decisions with travel rosters and those type of things. And I'm sure it was a tough stretch for him for about 2 or 3 weeks there. He had to do some soul searching. And I think as an athlete, you get to that point in time at times where you got to reach rock bottom before you truly find out what's inside of you. And because if you just keep traveling and you're not pitching, and it's one thing, but it's really hits home when you get left off the roster and you're not with your teammates and those type of things. So I think the biggest thing was for him, and again, it's not easy to do for anybody, but especially a veteran, where you've got to kind of bury your pride a little bit and go, okay, I'm going to throw these live outings in the midweek where I've got to go prove myself. And he did that. He did it for a couple of weeks there where his stuff was really good. He looked like a guy that was hungry to get back on the mound and pitch, and that's what you want to see, and that's what his teammates wanted to see. It's never that there wasn't a desire to do well, but there's a difference there between I want to pitch and I want to go get after it on the mound, and that's what we saw.
And the other thing with it too is typically you see a little bit more of a like maybe a Caleb Clark, where there's an ascension to where that confidence is there and you start to see it more and more. Rare is it. Like given one opportunity and boom, you make the most of it the way that he did. But what type of message, to me, this is the lingering effects of it, is what message it sends to not only the rest of the staff, but to maybe guys like Clay Bradford or some of these other guys that the best teams at the end of the year have 3 or 4 of these stories where guys really weren't big factors early, but season kind of relies on your ability to produce when the team needs you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sends it loud and clear. I mean, and Jackson, first of all, you have to have the talent to be able to go do that, right? I mean, without that, then it's a moot point. You can want it as bad as anybody, but if you don't have the ability to go do that, I mean, he went and shut down a powerful Big 12 lineup. So that's first and foremost, but that talent's not able to shine through if you don't have the mental capacity to go be at your best. So, but yeah, it is. I mean, there's always those moments where guys emerge late in the season, and maybe it's a guy that had a limited role on the mound. Maybe it's a guy emerges at the plate where sees his baseball life is flashing before his eyes, and he just said, he basically just says, well, I'm just going to go up there and play loose, I mean, that's you see that at the end of guys' careers at times where they do that. And like you mentioned, Bradford and some other guys, Ben Columbus has kind of stepped up in that way, for us here the last few weeks. And we're going to need some of those performances here to go accomplish the goals that are all right there still in front of this team sitting here at the early part of May.
I want to go back to about second, third inning of his start. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher pitches with as much attitude as he was pitching. The way he was carrying himself walking off the mound, I didn't expect him to go no-hitter, but I kind of felt like he's got something tonight that I haven't really seen from him. We've seen it maybe from other guys, but never that much attitude from 33.
Yeah, no, he and we've seen it. I've seen that from him at times in his career where he's had that type of mentality. But as a young player, sometimes it's all or nothing. Sometimes it's I've got this, or if things don't go my way, it goes to a complete opposite direction. But I'm with you. I saw the same thing, and I saw this stuff was really good, and he was trusting his stuff. I mean, I think that's the biggest key is he was throwing some pitches and they weren't hitting them, or they weren't hitting them hard, and so he gained some confidence each and every time with that.
Generally, I ask these questions for our audience, but I'm asking this selfishly. As a coach, when you have a situation like that, I mean, I know what it's like as a broadcaster. You're sitting up there and it starts to enter your mind, and I know you're doing a million other things during the game, but does the baseball fan in you, the coaching hat aside, like, are you aware of what's going on and, kind of processing it as each inning passes?
Yeah, I would say probably as we got through 5 innings, and his pitch count was still down, I thought to myself, he could do this. Like, this is a real legitimate thing, because we were thinking through the lineup one time, get him some confidence, let him leave his outing feeling good about himself, type of thing. And had some other guys that were ready to roll as well. But yeah, once he got through 5 and his pitch count, I think it was still in the 50s or, low 60s at that point, I'm thinking, man, he might actually have something here. And then as the late innings unfolded, you start to root for it, especially as we got some runs in there too, which helped. I think that helped him breathe a little bit, and I think it helped their hitters got a little more aggressive as we gained a bigger lead as well. So the fan in me, the kind of just as the game was a little bit less stressful there in the back half of the game, you start to root for it for sure.
The pitch count to me was amazing. I mean, 107 for Sears or McConaughey or some guys that have been starting the whole year. That's a good workload. 107 for a guy that, I mean, once he got to about 60, I was like, he's got to be getting tired.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think he'd have it 47 pitches later.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too, right? If he didn't have a no-hitter going, we would have probably pulled him earlier in that game just because of that. These moments don't come around very often, so you've got to kind of embrace it when it does. And the other things you're looking at is where's the velo? Like it just kept popping 90s on the board, low 90s, throughout his entire outing, and the breaking ball was still really sharp. You can really tell with Jackson at times too. He'll lose his delivery once he gets a little bit tired, and he never did. He wasn't thinking about it. He was just out there competing.
Yeah, it was just an amazing night at the ballpark, and you could still feel that energy on the bus on Thursday, and it sounds like I wasn't at practice. Sounds like you guys had a great workout on Thursday, and it carried right over into Friday. And I know we have to hit the reset button every time, but when you have that positive energy, you feel like you want to harness it and hold it for as long as you can.
Yeah, and we rolled off a couple of wins right after that, and I think that was a definite byproduct of, number one, him saving our bullpen. Obviously, the positive vibes that come from beating a really good team and getting a midweek win and all those things that come along with it. And yeah, we were ready to go, compete at Minnesota and go win a series, and that's exactly what we did.
Get to Minnesota. They're a really interesting team to study. I mean, I had a hard time kind of figuring them out when I was doing the work, and I've watched plenty of their games this year, and there are times when their offense does what they did to us at times. I mean, I think they had 20 hits through the first 2 games of the series, and their record isn't sparkling, but it makes you kind of wonder how at times, specifically with the way they swing the bat. When you were doing your prep for them, what kind of stood out about Minnesota's offense and what challenge was ahead?
Yeah, they were very all or nothing at the plate, and I shouldn't say nothing as in like they're just going to strike out, but they're swinging with conviction there, especially at the top of their lineup. And they've got a young freshman that's hitting the 9-hole for them that had a really good weekend, and he's a good young player. But the top of their order is specifically probably the top 5 guys in their order. They're dangerous because they're swinging to drive the baseball, and Counsell, their leadoff hitter, he's got 11 home runs now, and they've got some guys with some pop in the lineup. So if you make mistakes, they're going to hurt you. And that's kind of what we saw. I mean, I think we ended up giving up 25 hits and 15 were for extra bases. So, they hit some home runs. They had the extra base hit. We were really able to hold them down with runners in scoring position and made some pitches when we needed to. And they've got some good arms, too. I mean, their Friday guy is up to 96, and he's got a good slider. And he just hasn't been able to wiggle out of jams at times. That's kind of been his bugaboo, and we had a couple of big hits off of him on Friday. Their Saturday arm is probably one of the best arms in the Big Ten for my money. I mean, we saw him last year. He was really good against us last year. He's left-handed. He's up to 93 with a fastball. He's got a really good slider. He's got a changeup. He's competitive. And then their Sunday guy, I mean, he's another lefty that was their Friday guy last year. Hasn't had as good a season, but he's got good stuff. And then they brought in a freshman that was up to 94 out of the pen. They've got there's some talent, and that's why they're right around 500 in the league. And, they had some close losses early in the season. So we knew we were going to have our hands full on the weekend. Anytime you go on the road, and win a series, you've done something well. And obviously we would have loved to have swept. You win the first 2. You feel like you let one slip away when you lose the third. But by the same token, if you would have lost one of the first 2 and you went on Sunday, you feel like you got out of there and did exactly what you wanted to do. So, we'll take it. You get a series win, and it was good to be on the right side of a winning week. Let's
talk Brett Sears. It's been an interesting couple of weeks for him. Obviously, the way Iowa swings the bat, I don't think anybody was overly surprised with what they did against Sears, and it's kind of the same thing with Minnesota, but just the natural human emotion. This is 2 in a row that hasn't been the Brett Sears-esque, and the questions are already starting to come out. What's happening to Brett Sears? When you start to break it down and you look at the charts and you look at velocities and you look at how he's composed himself, what have you seen the last couple of weeks?
I would say the last part of what you just said was probably I don't know that he's pitched with the same edge the last 2 weeks that what we've seen. And again, I say that not in a disparaging way that he's not out there competing. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that there's another level of compete for Brett Sears that he's reached, and he's reached in the first inning of games, and that's where he's kind of gotten hurt. These last couple outings has been early, and he hasn't had all his pitches going early in the game like he has, and maybe not executed as well, and it's kind of gotten away from him for a couple of crooked numbers, which is a little bit, like you said, it's out of the ordinary for him. So I think just him understanding who he is and where he's come from. It's not to chase numbers. It's not to chase these ghosts of outings past of, hey, I've got to live up to a certain expectation. How did you get to that point? And it's a little bit like what we talked about with Jackson Brockett. The talent's there, but you've got to have it between the ears every time out too. And so for him, it's just a matter of, I'm going to go compete as hard as I can today and have absolute conviction with what I'm doing. And if I get hit, I get hit, and I'm going to really buckle down when I need to. And so early in a couple of these games, he hasn't really had that mindset, in my opinion, that we've seen for the entire year. And so those are things that I think he recognizes. He sees. He's had those conversations with Coach Childress. And again, I'm not saying this in a way to say that Brett Sears is not out there trying. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I think he knows that for him to be at his best, he's got to pitch with an edge. He's got to pitch with that little extra behind it, and look to see him get back to that this weekend.
I feel like you and I have spent all year talking about the word emotion, good, bad, somewhere in the middle, and we could spend all hour talking about Brett Sears and what type of human reaction could come from this, and breaking it down 10 ways to Sunday, and then let that creep into anybody's minds. But at the end of the day, you've got a pitching coach with a model of keep it simple, stupid. How much does it help having Rob Childress, in control of your pitchers when things like this happen? Yeah,
and again, it's to me, it's the communication piece of it, where he can have those conversations with Brett and say, this is exactly what I see. I can admit that maybe I haven't made the right pitching calls at times. And there's a good back and forth there with the two of them that they can come to an understanding of what needs to happen to get better. And like Rob's he's seen it all. He's been doing this for a long time across 3 different power conferences. He's been a head coach, so that piece of it, he's able to get the most out of his guys because he's able to articulate what he sees and have that feedback to them. And then they can have that dialogue with Coach Childress as well to say, okay, well, this is what I feel, this is what I see. And Rob's secure enough to go, okay, like let's come to a common ground right here, because we're all just trying to get you to be the best you can be.
100%. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. I mentioned Coach Childress, but how has it been this year? You've had some new pieces as a staff, and you, as a head coach, you probably don't really know what it's going to be like till the bullets start flying and you face some adversity. I feel like you guys mesh together really well with Coach Siri and obviously Coach Childress and, all the help that you're getting from the volunteers. I feel like you guys are really meshing well. How has it gone with the new group?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I think it's made a major impact in our program in a lot of ways. And one of the reasons that we have all of our goals still right there in front of us that we have, the expectations are very high, for us here at Nebraska. And these my guys, the coaching staff, like you said, the support staff with Connor Behrens, and the GAs with Gunnar Hellstrom and Caleb Feakin and those guys, putting in the extra work. It's been a lot of fun. It's gone really fast, and Coach mentioned that after the huddle on Sunday. It's like it's gone really fast. It's gone fast because it's been fun. We've done a lot of winning this year, and that's the ultimate experience, right? Is winning games. That's the fun part of it, and getting to take the team photos and all those things. So those guys have done a tremendous job. It's been great to see some different dynamics brought from each of them, and we've had, even though we haven't coached together with Coach Sirianni, he's kind of cut from the same cloth that we all have kind of been raised in the game of baseball with, and so he brings a little different dynamic maybe than the rest of us too. He's a little more laid back, and I think that's probably a good thing. Not to say he's not intense, but I think he's also a guy that brings a level head every day, and he's been really, really good for our staff.
There are certain guys that you can just look at and you're like, yeah, Husker uniform fits on you, and I still think that occasionally when I look at Coach Sirianni. I was like, yeah, it kind of felt like he's a Husker. Kind of felt like that looking at him.
Absolutely, love to have him here for a long time.
Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks, pricing on hundreds of items in store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. We'll take our first break with Coach. When we come back, we'll get into plenty more ahead on the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Stay with us.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs' features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker Black Shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We're recruiting Teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Husker fans, it's baseball season, and your Nebraska baseball team wants to see you at Haymarket Park. Season tickets, diamond deals, and single game tickets are on sale now. Get your tickets today and help the Huskers show everyone in the country why there is no place like Nebraska. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975, and now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Let's talk offense a little bit, Coach. I feel like it's such a misnomer in this sport that once you have a good day, it's just going to be a good day from here on out. But give us an idea of what you're looking for as a head coach, of what determines a good day and an unsuccessful day at the plate.
Yeah, I would say in general, good hitters, good hitting teams are very decisive in the box. And when I say that, with that comes a certain level of aggression. Aggression at number of swings, intent of swings, those type of things. So those are things you look at. Good hitters have that confidence and that conviction to take what we call a committed swing. A committed swing is one that's you're swinging with full conviction. And, you know, that's what, obviously, as a pitcher, you can kind of tell when a guy's fully convicted by his pitches. Same thing with the swings. It's not caught in between or maybe check swings and stuff like that. So when we've been really good, we've been aggressive at the plate. When we've had big innings and driven in runs, we've been aggressive at the plate. Days like Sunday, when we weren't scoring, we were passive at the plate. And when I say passive, took too many strikes. I mean, just weren't ready to hit enough pitches, trying to keyhole the pitcher a little bit. You know, maybe just only swinging the bat if you felt like you could only hit it 105 or a higher miles per hour exit velocity. So, you know, for us, we're not necessarily a big home run hitting team. We can hit home runs. We can hit some extra base hits, but the only way you're going to do that is if you take a committed swing and you're fully convicted, and you don't let that pitch go by and go, oh, I wish I had swung at that, right? Because, I mean, that's half the battle is just you're going to swing out of the zone at times, but are you doing damage on the pitches that you should be doing damage on? So we've had a solid year offensively. It's been a bit up and down at times. I think we've left some things on the table in terms of left on base. I mean, the numbers are higher than we'd like them to be. The good news is we're getting guys on base. So there's very rarely a 3-up, 3-down inning. I mean, there's a lot of tough outs in the lineup, a lot of guys that are battling at the plate. We've had a lot of 2-out runs, a lot of 2-strike hits. So there's been a lot of positive things. We've stolen a lot of bases. So there's been a lot of positives there. I think down the stretch here, though, what we'd all like to see is just that the full commitment to, you know, to being aggressive at the plate. And again, when you're aggressive and you're on your toes offensively, you get the pitcher on his heels, and so he starts to nibble. You start getting more walks. You start to, you know, when you're up there taking pitches, the pitcher starts to feel pretty confident that you're not going to do damage on a pitch, so he can maybe get away with some things. So I'd like to see us down the stretch here. The weather's warm. There's been good days to hit. That we don't, take a step back from where we need to be from an aggression standpoint.
You've been around this game long enough, Coach Childress, all the coaches, to know that if you are trying to do things like compete in the Big Ten tournament or win a regional, you're going to see elite arms, and you're going to see Brody Brex, and you're going to see some of these guys. What messages have been passed down to these guys? Like, hey, it's not going to get any easier from here on out.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think we talk about, looking into the future as much as just the things that we hammer day to day. It's like you're facing a good arm. Getting to 2 strikes every at-bat's a bad recipe for doing what you want to do. I mean, you've got to be able to his mistakes, can't foul it off, or you can't take it. You've got to be ready. And again, that just goes back to that. When I step in the box, my thought process is yes, 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 until it's no. It can't be no, no, oh, shoot, yes, I want to swing the bat. Especially when you're facing elite arms, it just doesn't work that way. So got to be ready to hit. Got to make sure that, it's tough. It's tough sledding when you're facing good arms and you're getting behind in the count every single at-bat, which is what we did on Sunday. I looked up, and I think 9 of the first 11 guys that went to the plate hit with 2 strikes. Not good enough.
And then, obviously, you turn the page from last year to this year, and so much of last year was put on Max and Bryce's shoulders, as we all knew. And anybody that was around the game or around the team knew it was going to be much more of a team approach this year, and it had to be. You couldn't just put it all on Karen's shoulders or DC's shoulders to shoulder that load. It's not fair to them, and it's not a good recipe. How has that process been, having a much more, I'd say, team-oriented or less home run-focused offense from last year?
Yeah, I think part of that is just having guys understanding what their role is and how to go execute that role, and that's been a strength of this group is and it's our job as coaches every day to remind them what that is and to hold them accountable to that. But it's just, understanding that anybody could be asked to lay down a bunt at any point in time. Anybody could be asked to hit and run. You're going to be asked to, move the line when you need to and take some pitches when you need to and those type of things. So that's been the strength of our team, has been setting up innings. And like I said, how you knock those innings down is you've got to get yourself a little bit, I don't want to say selfish, but that's how guys produce runs is you've got to be willing to take what's there and be ready to swing and understand that, hey, I may just hit a ground ball to shortstop with a runner at third, and that's helping the team win.
Saw Karen do that.
Yep.
I don't remember what game that was, escaping me, but did the same thing on the first pitch. If problem gambling is bringing up your money, there is a way out. Help is free and confidential for Nebraskans and their families. There's no judgment, just help. Visit lifeafterbet.com. Time now for tonight's trivia question, and we're looking for of any kind here on this particular question. Who was the last opponent that Nebraska's last no-hitter came from before Jackson Brockett's against Kansas State? Who was the last opponent Nebraska as a team no-hit? We'll give you the answer and hand out some scratch tickets courtesy of the Nebraska Lottery. We'll take a break. When we come back, we got more with Nebraska head coach Will Bolt. Stay with us.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Husker fans, check out the all-new Hy-Vee Perks program. Sign up for the totally free Hy-Vee Perks program and enjoy exclusive perks Pricing on hundreds of items in-store and online. Score big savings today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Welcome back to the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. More than halfway through our program, Ben McLaughlin joined again by head baseball coach Will Bull. Coach, we talked a little bit about some of the teams that we've played in recent weeks, and another good opponent coming up this weekend. Don't want to look past the midweek, but just hard to believe just 2 Big Ten series left, and Indiana's a team that's probably as confident as any that we've seen. Just took a big series this last weekend against their biggest rival in Purdue. Give us an idea of what it's going to take mentally and competitively to have a successful week.
Yeah, like you said, obviously it starts with our game, against South Dakota State on Wednesday, and building, again, like you said, what we had the week before with Brockett, just giving us those good vibes going into the weekend. Like to see our offense come out and like we talked about, be aggressive and be ready to hit and have a chance at scoring a little bit. But as far as Indiana goes, very talented team. I went back and watched a couple of their games from the weekend, and they got some guys feeling good at the plate. There's a reason that they were ranked preseason. There's a reason, they won 43 games last year. A lot of guys returning off that team. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, which kind of hurt, but now they're getting going again, much like Iowa, as they came in to play us. And so their lineup's deep. They've got guys at the bottom of their order that have double-digit home runs. They got some guys on the mound they're starting to figure some things out, and they're really very athletic. And that's typical of Indiana ball clubs is what they have right now, and they're feeling confident. And every goal I'm sure that they have before the season is kind of right there in front of them as well, to go finish strong.
Our series with them going all the way back to the Schwarber, Travis days, and even before that, we've always had really competitive series with them. And I feel like, it's not, I wouldn't characterize it as a rival by any means, but it just feels like every time we get together, it feels like a big-time game with them.
Yeah, and they're, like you said, going all the way back 10 years ago, when they were going to the College World Series and winning the conference and those type of things. We played Indiana in the championship game twice, in 2013 at Target Field and in 2014 at TD Ameritrade at the time. And then just through the years, there's been some battles, and just the years that we've been back here, they've had a lot of talent. They've had, like I said last year, as talented as anybody in the country with what they had, and even going back to the 2021 season, they had a third-round pick on the mound, and some other guys that were really highly touted. They do a great job on the recruiting front, and they do things a little bit differently too, where they've been able to get away with having some freshmen, more than a handful of freshmen that are contributing, and that's truly a testament to coach's staff there at Indiana, where they do a good job of identifying talent and having guys that are ready to play right away, and then they blend some of the transfers and some of those things in there with them, but they do a nice job there.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I feel like every year there's 3 or 4 guys in their lineup that I felt like have been there forever, and this is the same. It's the same way this year. They just find ways to hold on to these guys for year over year, and that leads to what you're saying with the offensive production. I feel like that's kind of a staple with Indiana, is they love to have offenses that can mash, especially in that ballpark in Bloomington.
Yeah, you said it. That the park plays fairly small at times, and so you have some guys that can drive the baseball and some physicality there in your lineup. You're going to get rewarded with that, and they've got guys with stuff on the mound that can keep the ball in the yard as well.
It's been a really interesting year for the league. Not only with the records, but even with the remaining who plays who. A lot of times it's your scoreboard watching for one reason. I feel like this year, you're not going to be so much as probably I will, but with the games happening, scoreboard watching for other reasons. It seems like whoever wins the Big Ten this year is going to earn it, because every team, I feel like, controls their own destiny in this thing.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week and maybe a couple weeks ago, but there's a lot of teams at the top with really good records in the league. It's just it has been an interesting year. And again, I think we sit here the last 2 weeks of the year, it seems like every time, and it's so jumbled where you could have a bad weekend and you go from, or a great weekend, you can go from 6th to 2nd, so it's just, there's kind of that lack of separation there at the very top, and some talented teams that are playing really well and battling it out, and it'll be a fun finish here. Like you said, I mean, our job and objective is to put ourselves in position to win series, and if you do that, you give yourself an opportunity. And if you can win on the weekend in college baseball, you got an opportunity to do what you want to do.
How do you balance the human nature of looking ahead and, you know, reaching a goal, as opposed to something that I know this coaching staff and you in particular preach of staying present, being in the moment, focusing on today? At the same time, you know, everyone in that clubhouse is human being, putting on a jersey. They kind of understand what's in front of them. How do you walk that fine line? Yeah,
I think it goes back to just trusting your training and the things that we've talked about and been about for the last 9 months since these guys have been together. I mean, we ingrained in this group the intensity level that it takes to win, not just on game day, but on practice days and day in and day out. How you can go play a certain way on game day is how you prepare to go play, you know, hard, fast, and loose on game day, is to trust your process with practice. And so, you know, just really enjoying each day for what it is gives you that chance to do that. If you dread coming to the park, then you're not going to have the mindset that you need to have. So we got a bunch of guys, especially older guys in the program, that have kind of set the tone for the rest of the group. They did that going back to September. Right? I mean, they started saying, okay, we're hungry. We want to win. We want to get back to regionals. We want to do some things. Everybody's talking about what we lost after last year, but this is what we have, and I think we could kind of see that in the fall. And so just staying, again, it just sounds corny to say it, but just take it one day at a time and understand that, you know, you really don't have much guaranteed other than the day that you have in front of you. And that goes for, I mean, you look at guys that are injured, guys that have, you know, we've got some guys that are out for the year that if you take one day for granted, you're going to wish you didn't. So this is the most fun time of the year. School's kind of winding down now. They're going to be taking their finals soon. The weather's starting to turn. Should have some great crowds this week. This is the time to really enjoy and kind of reap the benefits of having the mindset necessary this entire year to go finish strong. Yeah, well said. Sarpy County, where great food, drink, shopping, concerts, and fun away you stay, play, and plan your getaway at GoSarpy.com. Also need to thank our friends at Nebraska 811. Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. We're back with one more segment with the coach coming up next.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975, and now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Husker fans, it's baseball season, and your Nebraska baseball team wants to see you at Haymarket Park. Season tickets, diamond deals, and single game tickets are on sale now. Get your tickets today and help the Huskers show everyone in the country why there is no place like Nebraska. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Final segment of the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Ben McLaughlin, one more time, joined by Nebraska head baseball coach Will Bolt. We've talked for almost an hour now and haven't talked about the next opponent, South Dakota State. Tell us a little bit about the season the Jackrabbits had. They've had a really interesting conference as a collective this year. Just some wild scores and wild records.
Yeah, it's been the Summit League has been, like you said, I mean, it's been back and forth, and I know the standings there are pretty jumbled right now too, and they've got 3 guys in their lineup with double-digit home runs, one with 18 homers, and some guys with really good numbers on the mound, and you know, they're right in the thick of it just like we are, and you know, they're going to be coming to play at a beautiful ballpark with great weather and, you know, hopefully a great crowd, and so they're going to be ready to go, and so we need to make sure we give them our best shot tomorrow and get off on the right foot this week.
One of the many productive conversations Meister and I had on the bus ride back from Minneapolis was hard to believe this is the last home week of the year.
Yeah.
Like how fast this season has gone. You've got obviously the next one with the Jacks and then this weekend with Indiana, and that's it. Some of these guys will never play at Hawks Field again.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe we can do our part to get them some home games later in the year if we can finish strong and you know, continue to reach the goals that we've set out for ourselves. And if not, it has gone fast, and you know, we're very fortunate to have what we have here with our fans and our ballpark, and love to nothing more than to send these guys off with a winning note. And you're going to say goodbye to some seniors that have been with, some of them I think been with you your whole time here already. That's really insane to think about. Yeah, KP, I think this is his 3rd senior day that he's going to go.
Running out of gifts to give him.
Through. Yeah, I think maybe that's why he keeps doing it, so he can get the gifts. But yeah, we're going to miss some of these guys, and it's always bittersweet to say goodbye. And I think this week, this year we're doing a little different. I think we're doing senior day, I believe, on game 2 of the series instead of game 3. So a couple night games, a couple BTN games this weekend, Mother's Day, a lot going on at the ballpark. Hope to see everybody out there.
We appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for the time.
No problem.
Dorothy Lynch Home Style, light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. That'll wrap us up here for the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Stay tuned, though. Jessica Coody has hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. That's coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Nebraska men's basketball recruiting coordinator Patton Borders is one of 50 men's and women's basketball coaches invited to participate in the 2024 NCAA Basketball Coaches Academy this week in Indianapolis. Participants will be trained in a variety of areas that encourage effective coaching at the intercollegiate level, with a focus on the holistic well-being and development of the student athlete. Peter Kobelt has been named the 12th head coach of the Huskers men's tennis team. Kobelt served as the interim head coach this past season, leading the 2023-24 team to one of the best seasons in Nebraska history. The Nebraska women's basketball team learned their Big Ten conference matchups for the upcoming season. Some notable games include hosting Ohio State, Washington, and Oregon, visiting UCLA and USC, and the Huskers will split a home and road game with Iowa. 2 game ones tonight in the NBA as the Celtics lead the Cavs 57-44 in the second quarter, and the Thunder host the Mavericks. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Morgan brings it in. Tyler Stone rips one to right. That's hit deep, and that ball is gone. Tyler Stone ties us up at 4. A 3-run blast to right. Stoney into the bullpen, and it's a new game here in Lincoln.
McDermott, the right-hander, deals. Pineda swings and lifts a fly ball to left field. Going back is Peterson. It's over her head and rolling all the way to the wall. Bacon scores. Bland scores. A 2-run double for Pineda. And the Huskers boost the lead to 6-2 in the third.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome in, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Great job by Duke there on the ticker, and we do want to wish him the best of luck as he heads to his intramural volleyball championship. He will be back on Thursday, so maybe we will have a title to talk about here from somebody in the Huskers Radio Network, but he told me he's the underdog. They're the underdogs, and that's how they like it. So good luck to Duke in the volleyball, intramural volleyball championships. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Thanks so much to Ben McLaughlin for filling in there in hour number 1. Great stuff there with Will Bolt. And the answer to the trivia question, we have those rolling in, but it's Arkansas in 2013. The last no-hitter as a team, not just an individual, but as an entire team, was against Arkansas back in 2013. Congratulations to Ron, who is the winner on our text line there. And he's going to get some scratch-off tickets thanks to the Nebraska lottery. So congratulations, Ron. And speaking of that no-hitter by Jackson Brockett just moments ago, in addition to his Big Ten Pitcher of the Week honors, he is named the National Pitcher of the Week to go along with that. So congratulations again as the awards and accolades continue to roll in for Jackson Brockett. All right, from baseball to softball. We heard a lot about a big series coming up this weekend for Husker baseball. It's a big week ahead for Nebraska softball as they head to the Big Ten tournament, and they need a good showing out there to be able to punch a ticket and to keep the hopes alive to get into the NCAA tournament. So they are the 4 seed and will play on Thursday, 1:30. They will await the opponent between Illinois and Minnesota. And to get us set for all of that, we welcome in the voice of Husker softball, Nate Rohr, who will be on the call for all of the action and to help us get us set for this week's Big Ten tournament for Nebraska softball. We welcome in Nate. Nate, thanks so much for being here with us.
Happy to be here. Exciting times in softball, no doubt.
Okay, so I want to dive into the tournament and all of that good stuff, but let's go back for just a minute and talk about the weekend against Minnesota. Take 2 out of 3, saw some really good things. How much confidence do you feel like they might take following that last regular season weekend into tournament play this week?
Well, I think especially from an offensive standpoint, they can take some confidence, and they were able to put up some runs against a decent Minnesota team. They're not great on the pitching side, but perhaps the biggest thing that we can take away from the weekend up in Minneapolis is how Sarah Harness pitched, because Kaylin Kinney was not able to go very long in either of her outings. She's battling some lower body issues. She's had chronic knee issues here down the stretch. And so, she tried to go on Friday night, only won an inning and 2/3 innings. And then on Saturday, she was only able to go a third. And Sarah, who's been a little prone to inconsistency in her career, was able to put together 2 really good outings against one of the best lineups in the Big Ten. So perhaps that's the greatest source of confidence you can take from that last weekend in the regular season into the Big Ten tournament.
Okay, so it all gets started on Thursday. Huskers lock up the 4 seed. They will face the winner of Illinois, Minnesota. I guess, Kate, you first give us who do you think it will be that the Huskers play? If it's Minnesota, that's pretty quick turnaround, having just seen that team over the weekend. But how do you kind of expect that first game to play out leading into who the Huskers might play?
I'm expecting Minnesota. We saw this past weekend how similar Nebraska and Minnesota are from the standpoint of very good offenses, from the standpoint of pitching injuries. Minnesota's without their top pitcher, Bree Enter, who came on and threw a ceremonial pitch at the beginning of Sunday's game, but ultimately did not pitch in the series. So she's been out the last 2 weeks. So the Gophers have had to go to J.C. Hambrick, who'd been there too for most of the year, and then Macy Richardson, a native of Tecumseh and a Sterling High School graduate. So, both teams are trying to get by with secondary pitching. As far as Illinois is concerned, it's been a rough year for them, and they come into this tournament stumbling. I mean, they end up getting the last ticket, but only because of the work they had done before. Iowa, the team that's going to be sitting at home while the tournament's in their home, went up to Urbana and took 2 out of 3. So I would make Minnesota a pretty heavy favorite, and I would expect to see the Golden Gophers against the Huskers Thursday.
So the Huskers took 2 of 3 then from Minnesota. If that's the matchup, what are we looking for? What do the Huskers need to do, I guess, no matter who they play? At this point, you don't really prepare as much. It's like, hey, we got to line up and go play. So what do the Huskers need to do to win in advance to maybe face Northwestern on Friday?
I think the biggest thing is just find a way to get 21 outs. And right now with the injuries to the pitching staff, that's going to be a real concern. The good news, if Nebraska is able to get through that first game, is nobody sees you more than once in the Big Ten tournament. And there will be, a 4-day separation between the last time Minnesota saw Sarah Harness and perhaps the next time, if Kinney cannot go, obviously. So, and they'll have to prepare for the Illinois pitching staff in between. So it's just finding ways to get outs, because I think this offense can get the job done, especially against this Minnesota pitching staff. But keeping that other offense down to where the Husker offense can come up with enough, I think that's going to be the real key. And just finding a way to get through those games, whether Sarah Harness starts, whether you start Kinney and ride her in a game as long as you can and then go to Harness. I think that's going to be the real question that needs to be answered by Nebraska later this week.
So I've been asked a bunch. There's nobody better to ask than you. What does the postseason, the NCAA tournament outlook look like for the Huskers right now heading into this week? What does Nebraska need to do to maybe solidify a spot in that NCAA tournament field?
Well, Nebraska's pretty squarely on the bubble. If you just go through and pick out the automatic bids and then use the RPI going straight down to fill out the rest of the field, Nebraska is the 3rd team out in the RPI. That's good news, but here's the bad news. You look at the team immediately ahead of Nebraska. That's Kansas. That's Nebraska's best win. So normally you'd be sitting there going, okay, we want the teams ahead of us in the RPI to lose, except Kansas is Nebraska's best win, or one of their best wins in terms of RPI. So would it hurt Nebraska as much as it would help them if Kansas loses? And then ahead of KU is Indiana, and maybe the Big Ten tournament takes care of that with Purdue and then Northwestern ahead of the Hoosiers. And then from there, you're talking about Mississippi, and they'll play Kentucky in the SEC tournament's first round. And Mississippi finished 13th in the SEC. But because of the strength of that league, they're probably going to get in. And so it's going to be really tough for Nebraska to climb those 3 spots to get on the good side of the bubble. Right now they're just out, yes, but the scenario is pretty unlikely for the Huskers to get enough help to get on the right side of the bubble. Their best chance, other than obviously winning the tournament, is making it to the semi, or making it to the final, but also beating Minnesota in the quarterfinal, and then beating Northwestern in the semifinal, and then playing Michigan, and then getting a lot of help. So there are a lot of things that I think have to go right for Nebraska to be an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament.
But hey, there's an opportunity to be an automatic qualifier with winning this thing, and this is a program that did it 2 years ago, and there are some players on this team that contributed to that. You were on the call for that. What goes into putting together a run to maybe potentially win this Big Ten tournament?
Well, it starts with great pitching, and that, again, remains the big question about this team. How are they going to get outs? You also have to be gritty. You have to be tough and not let yourself get swept away in a game, because this isn't a 3-game series. You lose one, it's all over. To that point, this team is well set up. They've come from behind time and again this year to win games. 18 out of the 29 wins are come from behind wins. They have 4 wins where they were down in the 6th inning. So this team can come back. They can fight. You like their competitive spirit. You just wonder, how are they going to control the opposing offenses? One other thing that I have in mind, you've got Minnesota as the likely first opponent, and they come in having lost 2 out of 3. So you feel good about that. Northwestern won its series, but still dropped a game. And there are some questions about where is their top pitcher, Ashley Miller. She had great numbers this year, but even the Friday night game between the Huskers and the Cats, it very quickly snowballed on her to where they needed to pull her out of the game. And so maybe you come through and take a lead and hold it this time against them. And then Michigan just lost 2 out of 3 to Ohio State. So your most likely path to a championship, if you can go down it, I think there are some real questions about all 3 teams.
So, and I quickly wanted to get your thoughts on just the overall landscape. We saw over the weekend Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma, who's been the dominant favorite for a long time, of course, where Jordy Ball just came from. But just the overall landscape, what does it look like this year? It seems pretty wide open at this point. There's a lot of teams that maybe could go in and compete for a national title.
Yeah, I think you start with Texas because, just the fact that they're the number 1 team, but also the fact that they were able to beat the Sooners in a 3-game series. Even though there are some questions about Oklahoma and some worries about their pitching staff, I still wouldn't count them out of being not just in Oklahoma City, but in the national final. It's kind of a tough year to handicap it when you think about it, because a lot of the power is concentrated in the Big 12, and to a lesser extent, the Southeastern Conference. Obviously, Tennessee is going to be a factor in the national championship picture. I'll be interested to see how far Duke goes. I mean, the Blue Devils have been pretty good the last few years. They've hosted regionals. They've won regionals. But can they make that next step as a program, as a very young program, mind you, and go to Oklahoma City, and then from there possibly play for a national championship. I think they're one of the big stories for me in the NCAA tournament to see exactly how far can they go. And then what does the Pac-12 bring to the table? I mean, Stanford made a College World Series run last year, and they've been good, but you've never felt like they were that upper echelon team. UCLA took a 3-game series from them, but UCLA has been up and down this year. So as you handicap the national field, I would start with Texas, unfortunately. I mean, then I think some amalgamation of Oklahoma State, Tennessee, and Duke, with a slight edge given to Oklahoma just because of their experience on this stage and the success they've had to this point.
Nate, as always, appreciate your time. We'll look forward to hearing you on the call this weekend at the Big Ten tournament. We're also expecting Big Ten awards to come out, all Big Ten awards to come out here. Probably pretty good chance that Billie Andrews is a lock to be on that first team, right?
I would say she's all conference. I would hesitate to say first team.
Really?
We saw this a couple of years ago where Billie Andrews was an All-American shortstop and yet was second team All Big Ten because the Big Ten Conference in their selection criteria emphasizes play in the conference over your overall numbers. And though Billie has had a decent year in Big Ten play, her numbers aren't quite as good as they were in an overall sense. So I'm expecting Billie Andrews to be all conference. Don't be surprised if it's second team. The other issue is that I think Jess Oakland has a pretty clear edge over Billie for first team all conference shortstop. Now we've seen it where even though you start out with the 9 positions, there are at-larges and that sort of thing, to where maybe Billie could get an at-large bid into first team all conference. But Billie will likely be first or second team all conference. I think Sydney Gray would be maybe even more of a favorite for first team all conference. I don't know that the position competition is as stringent there, and she's just had a better year in the league. I think Emerson Cope could be a factor in terms of all conference recognition. Brooke Andrews could be in there, and I think Ava Bredwell could get a look in terms of all conference.
All right, Nate, great stuff. Again, it's all gets started for the Huskers. 1:30 first pitch is when it's scheduled, but of course you never know with weather delays and any extra game innings or all of that. But set for 1:30, but Nate will be on the air starting at 1:15 for the pregame show on Thursday for the Big Ten tournament. Nate, Rohr, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to step aside for a break here on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com.
Not All Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Not All Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Not All Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Don't miss out on limited-time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. I'm Jessica Coody, and so excited for our next guest tonight, Lauren Cook-West, as spring volleyball. The chapter's in the rearview mirror. We had the spring match over the weekend, and she's going to step in and help us out tonight and kind of talk about all the things she saw over the weekend. Lauren, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me. I thought we were talking fashion, makeup, hair products, so you caught me off guard. Yeah. Have you heard her new album?
I actually have not heard the whole thing yet. I've heard some songs, but I think I've heard Lindsay Krause's a big fan.
She is. I heard she was up till like 2 a.m. or something, and then finally said, I have to go to sleep. I'll listen to the rest of it in the morning. I have class. But yeah, there's some big Taylor Swift fans on the volleyball team.
Well, it's great to see you, and it was great to hear you and JB over the weekend too. Let's start with the music though, because the week before the spring match, the whole team got to go to the Zach Bryan concert, and a lot of them, I know they were really excited. They're big fans of Zach Bryan as well on the team. How cool of an experience was that for the whole team to get to go and do that together?
Well, one of their big focuses this off-season or this spring has been team culture and team bonding. And after that loss to Texas in the national championship, the culture went downhill. So this Zach Bryan concert and going as a team and with the staff, the coaches were there as well. That was part of that culture building, that team building, the foundation that they're trying to set going into next season. So they had a great time. I think there's some videos circulating out there of Coach Cook dancing. He's a huge Zach Bryan fan. I mean, huge. He loves him. And he has a bone to pick with Matt Rule because Coach Rule was brought up on stage. And Coach Cook was furious. He called me the next day. He goes, I don't know why Matt got to go up there and I didn't. And so I think there's some tension there. Coach Cook is a little upset with Zach Bryan. I'm like, you should have reached out to his girlfriend. She's all for women's sports. So I said, you should have found a different avenue to try to get on stage there. But they had a great time, and I'm so glad that they got to go. I mean, we weren't doing things like that when I played. So it's really cool to see these opportunities and these fun events that they get to do now.
Maybe Zach was a little bit intimidated because of Coach Cook's rendition of Revival that's floating around, Like maybe he felt a little bit like, that was too good,
I think Coach Cook thinks he's good enough to be in the band and should be touring with Zach Bryan, but little does he know his vocals they're something else.
Oh, okay. You said you weren't doing that when you were playing, but if you guys as a team were going to go to a concert back then, who would it have been? I say back then like it was that long ago, but who
it
would
was
it have
back
been?
then. Who was popular in those days? I don't know.
Did y'all have like a favorite, I guess?
Probably like Luke. I feel like Luke Bryan, not Zach Bryan. He was popular back then. I'm trying to think who else. 50 Cent. he was. I don't know who. I don't know who was popular back then. That's a good question.
Well, you had mentioned just like rebuilding the culture, and we're hearing the players say that, and when they're meeting with the media throughout the spring. Can you take us through that? Like, you can't just rest on what was in place a year ago. It's a completely, even though there's a lot of the same faces, same players coming back, it's kind of like you have to refocus on that and figure out what works for this group going into this year.
There's two big projects that this team had throughout the spring season. The first one was they got in their position groups. So for example, the Sutters got together, so Kennedy and Bergen, and then what they had to do is they had to reach out and call former players who were captains, because usually captains are the ones who are trying to, build the culture and kind of hold the reins in that aspect. And so they called former players who were captains, they called them legacy players, and then they asked them questions. So Kennedy and Bergen, Sutters, they were calling past Sutters, asked those Sutters questions, and then put together a PowerPoint presentation. And then the team presented, each position group presented the night before the spring match. And different takeaways, different things that former players said. So that was the first project. The second project is to building team culture and to, focusing on what this team is going to look like in the fall. Was each player has, I'm going to do my best to explain this. Think of a necklace, a chain necklace. Mm-hmm. Each player was given X amount of little chains that can connect to this chain necklace. And anytime it could be, you see a teammate do something great in practice, you give them a little chain after practice, or maybe you go and meet a teammate outside of practice or playing on the court, and maybe you meet for coffee, or you do homework together, you go out to eat, you exchange a chain, and together they're building this chain necklace. And the chains that you're collecting from teammates, you're putting together on this chain necklace, and they're trying to form this chain necklace that's unbreakable, because that's how they want their team culture to be, that's how they want their bonds to be, are unbreakable. And I think that's a really cool concept, and it speaks to how this program really likes to visualize things. I mean, they're taking that visual and it's in their locker room every day, and they're seeing that chain grow, and then they get to have that into next season. So those were the two big projects in this off season of this team trying to build that team culture, trying to work on those relationships. But Jessica, we're still waiting. We don't have the whole team.
Right.
When you look at the spring match, we were missing All-American Big Ten Player of the Year, Taylor Landfair. We were also missing All-American Layla Blackwell. They just moved in actually yesterday. I think Taylor Landfair was moving in. I'm not sure when Layla gets here, but and then you were still missing Harper Murray, who's also an All-American. So that's three players who really haven't been with the team this entire spring and have missed out. And will now be added in the fall. And so it just, as much work as they're trying to do to build these relationships and to build this foundation, there's still more work to do in the summer with some of these new additions.
Which still in itself can still be a challenge because of the number of players from Nebraska that are going to go playing for Team USA.
Helter skelter is how Coach Cook described. I don't know the last time I heard someone use that phrase or that saying, but it's going to be chaos. You have players in and out of the gym all summer long. You have camps going on. You have summer conditioning. Then you have the Team USA, different players going to different locations. You have Jalen Ray's, a coach who's not going to be there for part of the summer. I think Kelly Hunter is helping with a few USA clinics and coaching. And so everyone's all over the place, and you're right, it's going to be difficult to do. So that's why it was a huge focus in the spring, and they'll do as much as they can in the summer and then pick back up in the fall.
Well, let's talk about what you saw on Saturday. First of all, how about, it's not surprising, but you started to see the pictures of people lined around the gym and trying to get in, and just the atmosphere. Once again, the spring match delivers, and just being really special in terms of going somewhere outside of Lincoln and getting to provide the product of Nebraska volleyball. But, the way that the fans showed up and turned out, it just, again, what you kind of come to expect from this fan base?
Every year, my mind is blown by Husker Nation and how they show up for Nebraska volleyball. And Coach Cook mentioned this in postgame. I didn't know about this, but ESPN 360, they're putting together a Nebraska volleyball documentary, and I'm not sure when it's airing. I believe maybe this fall or early 2025, but they actually came out and were there for the spring match because they couldn't believe that it sold out in 46 minutes, that, people paid cash only. You had to wait in line. You had to camp out. I think JV said the weather the night before tickets went on sale was like 20 degrees. People were camping in tents in order to, be in line to purchase tickets in person with cash. Who carries cash anymore? Also, I certainly don't. So the length that these fans are willing to go to support this team, and you can't put it into words, but you can say that ESPN 360 was there and documenting it all, and the fact that they want to come out to Kearney, which is small town Nebraska, and capture all of this. It just speaks volumes.
Can't wait to see that for sure. And it just again speaks to the kind of eyebrows and attention that this program has even still over the last year caught the attention of, to have E60 come into a documentary. So you'll be able to ask Coach Cook about that, because you guys are going to tape a podcast soon. So maybe you can dive into a little bit more of that information and get the details for us.
I definitely will. It's E60. I'm saying ESPN 360. E60. Yes, we will. We're actually recording Kicking Back with the Cooks right after this, so I'll be sure to grill them all about it.
Okay. So, overall, how'd you like what you saw in the product? Another sweep over Denver, but just you saw a lot of different lineups and a lot of people getting some opportunities. Did you like what you saw on Saturday?
Absolutely. This was, in my opinion, the best spring match I've seen Nebraska play since I've started doing color commentary. And that's been almost 10 years now. So it's just overall, there wasn't an area where I thought, man, Nebraska could have been better there, or they really need to work on this. It was just overall serving, passing, blocking, attacking, the setter connection with the middles, with the outsides, the tempo. Everything went so smoothly. And what I also want to say is Coach Cook changed the lineup pretty drastically between sets 2 and 3 going into the third set. We had a new setter, we had a new libero, he flipped the outsides, he flipped the middles. He did a lot, and they didn't miss a beat. So that shows you that we still have that depth, even though there were a lot of players that transferred in the offseason. We still have the depth. Everyone's on the same level, everyone's on the same page. The setters are setting the same tempo. Passing, everyone looked really good. The freshmen also, it's Skylar Pierce, Olivia, it's Mauk. Everyone was saying we should be saying Mock, but it's Mauk. We clarified that. And those two, as a freshman coming in early, that's already difficult to do, and you have a lot of pressure on your shoulders. But then coming into a spring match that's sold out, and you have to step in and play some pretty significant roles. They handled it tremendously. And Skylar Pierce, just quick on her, she showed us range. Normally younger players, they just hit cross court all day. she was hitting lines, she was throwing in tips, she was hitting cross court, she was throwing in a roll shot. I mean, and she was doing this. Most of the sets were perfect, but some were out of system. So it was a little bit of a higher set, or maybe Lexi had to come in and bump set. And she just looked like a veteran out there. And then Olivia, Coach Cook mentioned her passing. Trying to put this in simplest terms, there's a passing scale that Nebraska uses and pretty much everyone in the volleyball world uses. And if you're passing a 3, that's good. That's really good. And most liberos throughout the Big Ten, just looking into last season, were usually somewhere around a 2.5. Now, Lexi Rodriguez, plays out of her league, so she's normally at a 3. Coach Cook told me that Olivia did not pass below a 3 the entire match.
Wow.
So Coach Cook thinks that this is going to be one of the best passing teams they've ever had. And we always talk about how important serving and passing is. And those are going to win you matches. If you can serve tough, if you can pass well, you're going to win a match. And for Olivia to be added into the mix and to be back there and help Lexi with that passing load, that's a huge addition.
Absolutely. You just brought something that I wanted to ask you about. So the serving part of it, and we've had a lot of fans ask about it too, but what goes into that in terms of right now, from the spring to the summer, so that you are a really good serving team going into the fall?
There's a couple things that Nebraska does. I'll point out two. The first one is they're going to put up, or they always put up it's like an elastic rope, and it goes between the two antennas, and they put it to a certain height above the net. And servers have to serve between the top of the net, but underneath that elastic tape. So it's about this high, if you're visualizing this, and the servers have to hit that. They can go anywhere on the net, but in between the top of the tape and then the bottom of that elastic, and servers are trying to hit that. And so it's just barely going over the net. They're trying to hit that serve every time. And when servers serve and the ball is close to the top of the net, or it grazes the top of the tape and goes over, it's very difficult to pass, because that ball just drops. As soon as it goes over the net, it drops in front of those passers, and it's tough for them to get underneath it. So that's something that they incorporate into practice every day with the servers, and that's been helping. And you saw Merritt Beeson was a perfect example. She's a really strong server, and she, I think, had 2 or 3 serves that hit the tape, fell down, and she ended up getting an ace, or it was a shanked pass, and they got a free ball. Nebraska received a free ball over from Denver. So that's definitely helping. The other thing they do to work on serving is just focusing on their routine. And whether that's visualizing, whether that's taking a deep breath, whether that's focusing on the contact that you're having on the ball. I know that's been a big focus, is just, contacting. We have a lot of jump float servers, so contacting on the palm of your ball so that that ball really floats and doesn't have spin and moves side to side. Just having that routine every time you go back to serve, thinking whatever it is, doing whatever it is, breathing, bouncing the ball, whatever you need to do, whatever your routine is. Everyone's is different, but just keeping that in the back of your mind, utilizing that every time. And I think over time, it helps the confidence. Serving is really about your confidence level. You're going to go back there and you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to serve an ace. I've got this, not letting the crowd or the pressure, whatever it may be, interfere. And so just having that confidence, working on through that routine. And if you focus on your routine every time you go back to serve, then it becomes second nature and you build that confidence.
But is it a big part of kind of what goes into now, or is it pretty much the same year round, or is it something that you can really focus on now during this time, during the summer months?
Nebraska's always working on serving. So whether it's summer, whether it's spring, whether it's the fall, they're constantly working on their serving, and they know that that's something that they need to improve on from last season with how many errors they pile up. But it's Jessica, that's tough to answer. It's always a work in progress. Right. I know it was a big focus for them this spring, but it's always a big focus because of how important serving is. So I wouldn't say it, they're focusing on it more than normal, but it's always one of the most important things that they work on in practice.
Okay, well, I got to ask you, Lindsay Krause, how good was it to see her back out there and healthy and clicking on all cylinders?
She looked so good to me. I'm still being told, though, that she's at about 80%.
Wow.
There's still some things that they want to work on. And I think the best way to describe it is, so when she hurt her ankle, she was still doing physical activity. She would ride a stationary bike. She would, they have a special pool that she could swim in without putting pressure on that ankle, or not swim, but it's like walking on a treadmill in the pool, and it doesn't put any pressure on that injury. And so there were things that she was doing, but that's different than being in volleyball shape. So I think at this point, now that she's healthy, she's been full go in practice and in beach, I think they're just trying to get her back into playing shape since she was out for so long. And so I think that's why that number isn't at 100%, but to me, she looked 100%. I mean, she looked strong. She looked exactly how she was when she got injured last season. I mean, she was on a hot streak. She was getting kills. If she would have kept playing like that, she would have been an All-American last season, hands down. And she picked up right where she left off. But I still think she, the coaching staff, the training staff, still have about 20% to go with her. And that's a scary sight to see when Lindsay Krause is going to be 100%.
We also saw some good things from the middles as well. And I got to get your opinion on Josiah Alec's shirt that he was wearing. It said, "Feed the middles. The big girls got to eat." I need to get that. I got to get my hands on a T-shirt like that. Do we know where we make those?
I don't know, but I saw that and I could not stop laughing. I will say, though, every broadcast, I always have to say we need to set the middle more, because we never set the middle enough. However, Jessica, this was the first broadcast, maybe ever in my history of going on air, where I didn't say set the middle. I mean, Bergen and Kennedy got the middles involved. Their connection looked beautiful. I know that's been a big focus for them this offseason, and it's just a sight to see. And you also saw, when the middles are active and when they're getting kills, it opens up those pin attackers. So there were a lot of one-on-one situations, meaning only one blocker was up when an outside or a right side was swinging for us. So it makes me very, very happy when we set the middles. I love that shirt. We set the middle, feed the middles, whatever we got to do, whatever we got to say, signed shirt. I love it. Let's roll with it.
Oh, great stuff as always. I didn't even get to all my questions, but we'll have to have you on again here soon. Coming up in the summer, we can dive into, maybe what looks like during the summer months for this team. But thanks again for your time here on Sports Nightly. We'll have you on again soon. That's Lauren Cook-West. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thanks, Jessica.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back with more from Sports Nightly coming up after this.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It was just sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Well, we've talked a lot about softball moving towards the postseason. Baseball is quickly approaching. We've got track and field moving towards the Big Ten championships, but another notable for Nebraska fans to keep your eye on, Kelly Ann Strand from Nebraska Women's Golf. She qualified as an individual for the NCAA Regionals. She had a heck of a first day. Actually finished 2 under par, was in the top 5 after the first 18 holes. Had a little bit of a rough day today, but she's still right there in the mix. So she's currently 5 over, so it was 7 over today, but is 5 over, and so is right there in the mix. But how NCAA golf works is the top 5 teams advance, and then the low individual that are not on the qualifying team. So she is right there still in the mix with another 18 to play tomorrow. So we will be closely watching that as Kellyanne Strand. I mean, she's got a fascinating story. We've had her on Sports Nightly. She's from a really small town and actually played on a 9-hole course growing up and could go down, just a sophomore, could go down by the time it's all said and done as the best golfer to go through this program, has had a heck of a freshman season. So we will be watching closely as she closes out regional play coming up tomorrow and makes a push towards potentially making the NCAA championships. All right, we went a little bit long with Nate and Lauren, but that's all right. Everybody loves to hear lots of Nate and Lauren. So we are going to step aside for our final break. We're back to wrap things up. Coming up next, Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks, making them America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the 2024 North American Truck of the Year. This is the next generation of built Ford tough. See your Ford dealer today and celebrate leadership with special offers on Ford F-Series.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today, because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at GoSarpy.com.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Final couple minutes here left of hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Hope you guys appreciated our best of show last night. It was the women's basketball game against Iowa, right, Russ? Yeah. So, you know, with the tornado warnings, we had a little bit of a scramble situation. So, but it's a heck of a ball game. So we're going to have some best of games coming up. And, you know, a few weeks ago, we had talked about our favorite football games that Greg has called. Cole and the Army of Interns are working on that, so we will have those games coming up in the summer. Or, you know, we have some best ofs on Friday nights throughout the summer, so we're working on accumulating everybody that had their requests come in. We've got that on the list, and we're working on that, so we will have more best ofs coming up throughout the summer. We've got a couple more basketball games are going to air as well, but with the tornado potential warning and watch and all that, we thought we'd play it safe, but always great to hear Coatney and Greesh call an upset over Iowa. So we've got much more of those best of shows headed your way. Okay, so coming up the rest of the week, tomorrow we will not have a Sports Nightly show. We will be on the air for baseball with South Dakota State, 5:30 first pitch for that. And then Thursday, we will have a full 2-hour show. We've got a fun show lined up for you there. Justin St. Clair will be here, track and field head coach, as both track and field teams are in the top 25, both men's and women, and they head to the Big Ten Outdoor Championships looking for Big Ten titles. The men look to defend their outdoor Big Ten title. The women certainly are in the hunt to win a Big Ten title as well. So big things to come there. We're going to preview all of that with Justin St. Clair. And then Jake Muehlheisen will be in to talk all things, all the news, all the latest news. There's been a bunch of it surrounding Nebraska men's basketball. So, you know, just in our final few seconds here, just appreciate all of our Huskers Radio Network team that have really stepped in to help us out here. We love them. It's just such a family, and they've been so willing to help out. Lauren tonight, Nate tonight, Ben, Jake, Coatney, Searles, DB, the list goes on and on. So they are fantastic, and we've got much more of those guys coming up. Thanks to Russ and Duke for helping us out. We'll see you Thursday night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975, and now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Husker fans, springtime in Sarpy County means sports and outdoor activities. Catch an Omaha Storm Chasers baseball game or a Union Omaha Pro soccer match at Werner Park. Visit Fontenelle Forest, where you can enjoy tree rush adventures or hike and bike on one of the many trails. Play a round of golf or experience great fishing. Relax, refresh, and rediscover yourself with a springtime trip. Plan your adventure at gosarpy.com.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.